In the Field updates on Market Journal are supported by the Nebraska Corn Board. Stories are straight ahead on the show, but first, let's head out and into the field. Weed control in row crops continues to be one of those big and pesky challenges for growers each year. Just a few weeks ago, our team attended the Nebraska Extension Weed Management Field Day, which was held near Clay Center. While we were there, we learned more about the latest research underway and picked up some valuable advice on how to stay ahead of those weeds in your corn fields. Jenny, thanks for sitting down with us here at the 2025 Weed Management Field Day. In particular, let's talk about the corn side of this, and let's talk about the planning of how you guys decide on what kind of trials you want to do out here at the South Central Ag Lab.
Well, we appreciate you all being out here, Bryson, and really it comes down to Dr. Amit Jalla and his team. They're listening to what the producers are doing. They're through these field days and through the different programs during the winter, they're getting input as to what are the things that producers are concerned about and designing trials around that.
Yeah. Well, what have you heard from producers in terms of the weeds they're fighting? It's always a battle. When we do get some good precipitation, that means the weeds are popping up all over the area. What have you heard?
Yeah, we tend to continue that battle with Palmer amaranth. That's the biggest one that producers are fighting. So today at the field day, we're showcasing different herbicide programs, whether it's pre-alone, post-alone, or a pre plus a post herbicide program, various products, various combinations. So then the producers have to put the economics to it for their own specific situation. But then I also appreciate how Amit looks outside the box. We've got more producers using cover crops in their system. So how does a small grain like rye, if you plant corn into it, and when you terminate that rye, how does that impact yield? How does that impact weed control? How does it impact economics?
Let's talk about some of the results of what you're seeing out here. Of course, we're early in the growing season, but what has worked, or what have been some of the results?
Yeah, so that particular project on the planting, the termination timing of corn into cereal rye, that project has been done by one of Amit's students, Dr. Vipin Kumar. And what he's found so far is that even though as we looked at the plots, the corn seems a little bit behind where it was planted green into the rye compared to where there was no rye in the system. In the past, he's found there's really not much more than a 4 bushel an acre swing when it was planted green into the rye. We also looked at how the weed control is pretty decent where we have the rye. The trade-off there is we're trying to allow that rye to have enough biomass that we don't need a pre-herbicide. So economically, that's what the growers are looking at. But then there's also trade-offs if you're a non-irrigated producer or an irrigated producer. When do you terminate that rye, depending on your soil moisture and so forth?
We always encourage people to come out to these field days that Nebraska Extension hosts so you can see these things that we're talking about up close and personal, get your questions asked as well. But for those unable to attend this field day in particular, are the results of these studies published somewhere?
Yeah, so the results get published in journal articles and then eventually on CropWatch at cropwatch.unl.edu. The other places in that guide for weed, disease, and insect management, all the data from all these trials ends up in that book. So that's a great resource as well.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you the final word. You travel the countryside quite a bit, scouting out fields, seeing growing conditions across the geographic area you serve. Give us an update. What are you seeing?
Ultimately, crops look pretty good right now. I mean, I almost hate to say that most of the time, but we're just grateful that the crops are growing. We've been catching rains. They've been spotty, and there's growers here today that haven't been getting rain. So we're just praying for rain for everybody and just wishing everyone a good conclusion to the growing season.